Well, hi there. So this will probably be a relatively short one, but it's a tip that I've found incredibly useful, and I haven't seen other people talk about it much, but I don't even remember where I learned it originally, or if I was just noticing from where I was disposing of the ashes. This is a great way, at least in my experience and the people I've told about it. They've all had 100% success with it. This is a great way to dispose of poison ivy and kill the roots permanently. It's not instantaneous. It does take a while, but you'll notice results within I'd say about a month. And by the end of the season, spring, summer, you should have almost a complete clear of wherever this was spread. All we're going to be using today is hardwood ashes. That's it. I imagine this video will be of limited help to anyone that doesn't use indoor or outdoor wood heat. I go through about 1.5 to 2 cords a year on average in a highly efficient inside wood stove. We used to use a wood boiler, but it went through far too much wood for my taste. It just seemed... when you counted in labor and time, heating with propane and a heat pump was just far more efficient and cost effective. But we still do use the indoor stove for auxiliary heat and to take the edge off the electricity bill and the propane bill. So what I have here is an old 55-gallon drum that is where I store the wood ashes from inside over the years, and I don't think it's even half empty. At one point it was full. I was saving it for, that's actually where I figured out this trick. I was saving it for a friend that was using it to mix with his own homemade cement concrete for a project. And he moved far away and didn't need it anymore. So I think I was just trying to dispose of it on the periphery of the property over time, slowly, and noticed that all my poison ivy, which is lush and verdant here, was starting to go away forever. I retreat it about once a year now, just tossing some of these hardwood ashes. This is mostly oak and hickory. Around the poison ivy and on top of it, and after it rains and gets into the soil, it's either the pH change or the alkalinity to the soil that's doing it, or some other component of the wood ash that I'm not aware of. But other plants native to the area don't seem to have a problem with it, but poison ivy cannot tolerate it. So we're going to grab a Menards bucket full here, and I'll show you how I do it, but there'll be very little else to see. You'll just see some dusty poison ivy, but hopefully this helps somebody out. So here's a great comparison. I haven't treated this area in 1.5 to 2 years, and as you can see, it's relatively clear. We have a couple of new incumbents there, and we're going to take care of them. But this entire area that you're seeing clear got 2 relatively heavy treatments and used to look like this. As you can see, in my particular region, we grow 2 things very well: poison ivy and pine trees. So I've slowly been pushing it back, but I have not gone back here in a long time because my wife does not use the raised bed garden anymore. We had far too many deer incursions, and we had a windstorm that took down the cement post fence that we put in. Just Derico storm with the 100-mile-an-hour plus straight line winds dropped a huge oak tree right on top of it. Before anyone says anything about the nature of the landscape here, when we moved in, it was a solid beach. There was no grass. There was no wild flora of any kind. We had no topsoil. It was straight sand, just glacial sand. We've tried to cultivate native prairie fescue grasses, which have the deeper roots and can survive drought conditions better. But we don't mow. We let it go to seed every year. We try to crop out any weed species that we don't want to take over. But mostly we leave it as a natural habitat, pesticide free, to encourage the honeybees and the pollinators and provide our monarch butterflies with the milkweed that they like to use. So let's get to it. All we're going to do is we're going to take a little cup and we're just going to sprinkle it over top of our poison ivy relatively heavily. We're not going to do a light coat here. And again, if you don't have ready access to wood ash, I'm not sure how helpful this is going to be to you. I'm not sure where you would procure it from if you weren't generating it yourself. We'll go ahead and give this fellow a little love. I used to be immune to poison ivy when I was younger, but over the years I seem to have become more and more sensitive to it. Now what's going to happen, pardon the camera here, is after the next rain, this is going to soak into the soil and it's going to change the pH of the soil quite drastically, and the alkaline nature of it, our poison ivy at least seems to really prefer acid environments. The pine trees provide quite a bit of acidity, and the poison ivy comes right along with them. So we're going to change that soil pH pretty drastically with this stuff, and it seems to kill the roots and all. They don't come back. Like you see here, this cleared area has 2 plants this year, but it was clear without any interaction for over a year from the last time I treated it. It stayed clear all last summer, and I didn't add any, and I should have. So that is it. I'll show you what an average coat for me looks like. Oops. Not light. I sprinkle it very liberally. We want to get quite a bit in there. So I'm going to dump the rest of this bucket, and we'll take a marker of these 2 plants here that got treated all by themselves, and we won't touch them. And in about a month, I'll come back and show you the results. And they should be withering and dying and failing to thrive by that point, and by the end of the season they'll be gone again. That's it. So hardwood ash, in my experience, my father-in-law's experience, and everyone I've shared this with, achieves 100% kill in every place we've used it, but it does take some time. It's not an overnight, it's not an over a week, it's barely an over a month process. You'll be waiting probably half a season, but you don't have to dig up roots, you don't have to rip out runners, you don't have to dispose of the plants. Just dump the ash on and leave. So that's it. Hope this was helpful to someone, and I'll see you next time. Have a great week.